Once upon a time, in a small village tucked away in a verdant valley, there lived a young man named Kaito. Kaito was an archer, but he wasn't just any archer. In his village, he was a legend. From the time he was a small boy, Kaito had a natural gift. His hands were steady, his eyes were sharp, and his heart seemed to beat in sync with the flight of his arrows. When Kaito practiced alone in the forest, he was unstoppable. He could split a thin willow branch from 50 yards away. He could hit a falling leaf before it touched the forest floor. In those quiet moments, Kaito felt like a god. There was no fear, no doubt, only the bow, the arrow, and the target. But Kaito had a secret struggle, a shadow that followed him into the light. Whenever the village elders organized a competition, or whenever a crowd gathered to watch him perform, something inside Kaito would change. His palms would grow damp, his breath would become shallow, and the bow that felt like an extension of his arm suddenly felt like a heavy, clumsy piece of wood. Every year, the kingdom held a great tournament. The prize was a magnificent bow made of solid, shimmering gold. It was the ultimate symbol of status and wealth. Kaito wanted that bow more than anything in the world. He didn't just want to be an archer. He wanted to be the best archer. He wanted the glory. He wanted the gold. But for 3 years in a row, Kaito had failed. Each time he stood at the firing line, his eyes would drift from the bullseye to the golden trophy sitting on the pedestal. He would think about how his life would change if he won. He would think about the cheers of the crowd. And every time, his fingers would tremble. The arrow would fly wide, missing the target by inches. The crowd would whisper, "Is this truly the prodigy we heard of?" Broken-hearted and ashamed, Kaito realized that his skill was a prisoner to his own mind. He decided he could no longer live this way. He needed to find a master. After many days of traveling through treacherous terrain and steep mountain passes, Kaito reached a humble hut near the clouds. There lived a wise old master, a man who was once a great warrior, but had long ago traded his sword for a life of quiet reflection. Kaito bowed low, his voice trembling. "Master, I am the finest archer in the valley, yet I am a failure in the arena. When nothing is at stake, I am perfect, but when the prize is great, I am nothing. Please, teach me the secret to focus." The old master opened his eyes, which were as clear and calm as a mountain lake. He smiled softly. "I will help you," the master said, "but first you must show me what you can do." He led Kaito to a small pond. Floating in the center was a tiny wooden bowl. "Shoot the bowl," the master commanded. Kaito breathed out, focused on the wood, and released. Dwack! The bowl split perfectly. "Easy," Kaito whispered. The master nodded, but his expression didn't change. "Now," he said, "let us go to the edge of the world." He led Kaito to a terrifying canyon. Below them, a jagged river roared hundreds of feet down. Connecting the two sides of the cliff was a single, narrow log. The master walked out onto the log with the grace of a cat. He reached into his robe and pulled out a diamond so large and beautiful it seemed to hold the sun within it. He placed the diamond on a thin branch on the far side of the canyon. "Now," the master called out, "stand on this log. Shoot the branch. If you hit it, the diamond is yours. If you miss, the diamond falls into the abyss and is lost forever." Kaito stepped onto the log. Immediately, his legs turned to jelly. The wind howled around him. he looked at the diamond. It was worth more than his entire village. He thought, if I miss, I destroy the most precious thing in the world. His vision blurred. His arms shook. He couldn't even pull the string back. "I can't do it," Kaito cried out, retreating to the safety of the rocks. "The risk is too high. The prize is too great." The master walked back to Kaito and took the bow from his trembling hands. "Kaito," he said, his voice firm yet kind. "The branch is the same size as the bowl in the pond. The distance is the same. The wind is the same. Your bow is the same. The only thing that has changed is your heart. When you shot at the pond, you were an archer. You cared only about the arrow and the target. But when I showed you the diamond, you stopped being an archer. You became a greedy man. You were no longer aiming at the branch. You were aiming at the reward." Kaito looked down at his hands. He realized that all those years in the tournament, he hadn't been losing to his opponents. He had been losing to himself. He was so obsessed with winning the gold that he forgot how to simply shoot.
"When you focus on the prize," the master explained, "you lose the very talent that is supposed to get you there. To find your mark, you must let go of the gold. You must become the arrow. The result does not matter. Only this moment matters." Kaito returned to his village, but he was no longer the restless young man he once was. He still competed, but he never looked at the trophies again. He looked only at the center of the target, with a heart as calm as a mountain lake. And he never missed again. In your own life, what is your gold bow? Is it the money, the status, the fear of what others think? Remember the archer's secret. When the reward becomes your target, you lose your way. Let go of the prize. Focus on the work. Fall in love with the process. Because the arrow only finds its mark when the archer finds his peace. If this story helped you see your path more clearly, please give it a like and share it with someone who is feeling the pressure of the world today. Subscribe for more stories of wisdom and peace. Until next time, stay present and stay legendary.